Yo, what is up, y'all? It's Cone back here again today with another video. As you can probably tell by the Dort shirt that I'm wearing right now, and maybe you heard the news, the Oklahoma City Thunder today signed Luguentz Dort to a 5-year, $87.5 million deal, locking him up for the long-term future, and now having both Shea and Giddey under contract for the next 5 seasons. You throw that alongside Giddey being here for at least 3, 4, I believe it's 4 years at this point of team control left. You also have Chet Holmgren, who we just drafted, has 5 years of team control left. This whole core is under team control for the next 4 or 5 seasons, and it just continues to add on to the super bright future that this team has. But let's talk about Lu Dort and why he earned this contract. Some more casual fans might look at it and say, wow, that's a lot of money for a guy like Lu Dort. But when you look at the way that he has continuously improved and earned this contract, it's very clear that this is exactly what he deserves. Lu Dort, of course, was undrafted a few years ago, and he made his way onto the Thunder in the season where we had Chris Paul, Danilo Gallinari, Steven Adams, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that team, and quickly became a staple of the rotation, eventually becoming a starter as this defensive wing that couldn't really hit many shots outside of a couple here and there. In the playoffs, he really wasn't even being guarded from 3 until he ended up going off for 30 points against the Houston Rockets in Game 7, but his defense is really what showed from the get-go, locking down James Harden famously in that series against the Rockets, and then eventually going off and showing flashes of what he could be offensively. Then, over these last couple seasons, he has progressively gotten better and better offensive production-wise. His points per game have gone up. He's gotten more efficient. He continues to get better. His finishing at the rim especially is one of the most impressive parts of his game now, especially when you compare it to where he was. He now is a little bit of a floater. He can hit some mid-range jumpers. His three-point shot continuously gets better, and all that goes along with his defense. He continues to play phenomenal perimeter defense. He's also a bulkier guy who can kind of bang down low if he has to with larger players. He can do a little bit of everything, and having guys like that is so important to a team that is trying to compete for a championship. And all that, and he's still under 25 years old. He's still really young. So we have him locked up for the next 5 years on the team, and he's still young. There's so much time for him to get better. Every time Dort has been giving a full offseason to grow, to improve and get better, he has come back so much better the next season. And I anticipate that that's exactly what he's going to do. And if he keeps getting better like that, combined with the fact that the salary cap continues to rise. So while Lu Dort might be making $17, $18 million in a few seasons, even if you think that's high now, which I personally really don't, the salary cap is going to keep getting bigger, and it's not really going to seem that expensive. Years ago, we saw players making like $20 million as a ludicrous contract. Now we see role players getting like $20 million. We see young guys, Anthony Simons, a young guard, got $25 million, and years ago, that would have been looked at as a terrible contract. But most people kind of look at his contract now and say, yeah, he's a young, really promising guard. $25 million is pretty fair. So it changes very rapidly. And with the way that the salary cap can spike, it can continue to rise, it's never going to go down. So Dort's contract will only look better and better from a value standpoint the more years that we go down the line. We also had him playing on absolute peanuts the first few years of his career. When we signed him to that full contract off of a two-way, in that weird in-between period between when the NBA got canceled and the bubble, we got him for like $6 million or something like that over 4 years. Like, we paid him basically nothing. So the fact that he's now going to rightfully be getting the money that he deserves on this team as an integral piece to this young core is huge. There were a lot of rumors that maybe Dort wasn't in the franchise's long-term plans because we drafted like Jalen Williams, who kind of fits a similar mold. We've got a lot of wing players, a lot of guards. Maybe Lu Dort was the odd one out, especially when he came up for a contract extension this season, and we never gave him an extension. There was rumors that the Thunder would accept his player option, take him into next season where he would become an unrestricted free agent. But once the Thunder ended up declining that player option and letting him go to restricted free agency, it became pretty clear that we were going to bring him back. He's part of the long-term plans for the future, and I could not be more excited about that. There's very few guys in the league who deserve to finally get the money the way Dort has, the way he grinded from being an undrafted player, making his name as a defensive stopper, growing every season offensively. He's such an important piece of this team, and I'm really, really happy that he's finally getting the bag that he honestly deserves, in my opinion. Like I said, some people I'm sure aren't going to really realize the impact that he has on the game, combined with how young he is, why his price is so high. But I can assure you as a Thunder fan, this is a really solid contract. So if you're a Thunder fan that's worried, trust me, this is a really good contract. And as you look towards the future, some people are concerned that, oh, like I thought going into 2023, we were going to try and keep our salary low, keep cap space. The thing is, at this point, if say down the line, we want to trade for a superstar, you need some bigger contracts. So say there is a time where we reach the point where Lu Dort decides he doesn't want to be here anymore, or a superstar comes up on a contract down the line. Having this larger contract in Dort's, which gets bigger every season, would allow us to easier trade for a superstar if that was the case. So if that's something you're concerned about, that also too works out in favor. So this contract really kind of just helps everyone in Lu Dort's case. And like I said, it really is super cool to see Shea and Dort, two guys from that early roster back, like I said, in 2019-2020, the first year they were both here. Seeing those two who have been great friends, two Canadians, two guys who are best friends from what we've heard outside of the basketball court even, both get paid, both be secured for the next 5 seasons. Lu Dort does have a player option on that 5th year, so it's at least 4 years, but to have those two guys that are so close on this roster and together going forward for at least the next 4 years is super cool. And it really establishes Dort as this huge piece for the rebuild. It's one of the highest paying contracts that an undrafted player has ever received as well. So that continues to kind of make waves, makes landmark moments for guys like Lu Dort, undrafted players who have earned these opportunities, have gotten better. We saw Duncan Robinson as an undrafted player get a bag. Fred VanVleet is probably going to get a huge contract extension as an undrafted player this offseason. So undrafted guys are continuing to make their way and make names for themselves, which is super cool to see, because it shouldn't be the end of a player's career just because they don't get drafted. So like we see in the case of a Lu Dort, a Fred VanVleet, a Duncan Robinson, it's not. There are a lot of opportunities. Really happy for Dort. I have expectations from him of this upcoming season of just continuing to grow, get better, get more efficient, play that lockdown defense. I think he's going to have a little bit less of an offensive role this upcoming season, adding a guy like Chet Holmgren. I expect Dort to be asked to do a little less of shot creation by himself, which will also help his efficiency as well, help him focus on making those clean, open, mostly catch and shoot threes, while also having the speed and the touch to attack closeouts if he has to, and also allows him to focus a little more of his effort on the defensive end where he is incredibly valuable. So those are my thoughts on the Lu Dort contract. I'm sure a lot of y'all were curious to hear what I have to say. I think it's an incredible deal. I'm super stoked about it as a Thunder fan, and just as a fan of Lu Dort, I'm happy that he's finally getting his bag that he has really deserved since he kind of got into the league. He earned it 100%. So shout out to Lu Dort. Really happy for him. Shout out to Sam Presti, Lu Dort's agent, for getting it done. I'm psyched. Really excited to be a Thunder fan heading into this upcoming season. I'm going to draft another video tonight about the NBA free agency period that just started, probably some winners and losers type stuff. So make sure to subscribe to not miss out on that video, other free agency videos, other Thunder updates if you are a Thunder fan. But if you're not, appreciate you watching to the end too. Drop a Lu Dort is the GOAT in the comment section below if you made it to the end. I appreciate y'all watching. I'll see y'all later. Real one, say it back.